now, we have studied the renewable resources. Now, we will examine the non-renewable resources. The resources which have taken million years to form on the earth but cannot be renewed are non-renewable resources.
The non-renewable resources are found in the deeper layers of earth. Their formation might have taken a few million years. The concentration of these resources varies from place to place. You must have heard that petroleum resources are abundant in Middle Eastern countries. Petrol and natural gas are the most important natural resources. Petrol is produced only after it is subject to a number of processes. During these processes, some other useful chemicals like diesel, kerosene, etc. are obtained. These fuels, that is, petrol, natural gas and coal, are called fossil fuels. They are non-renewable. Once they are used, it may take some millions of years to form again. These fuels are formed from the dead animals and plants which were covered by layers of earth over millions of years. Due to the intense heat and pressure and lack of oxygen, over a period of time, these are converted to coal and crude oil.
Once these products are exhausted, the industries and transport vehicles cannot run. It is estimated that at the pace these resources are being used, they would become scarce in 100 years from now. Hence, indiscriminate use of these fuels must be stopped.
Fossil fuels cause pollution. Burning of these fuels emits carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, etc. Vapors of lead also enter the atmosphere. These gases affect the flora and fauna. One of the major hazards is global warming. Due to global warming, the ice in the polar regions melt and water flows down the hills to plains, resulting in floods. Due to increase of temperature, the lakes and rivers dry up and result in drought. In some areas it is flood and in some other it is drought, which badly affects the life of organisms.
Having realized the future problems, scientists are in search of non-polluting resources as alternate sources of energy. Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources, the DNES, is established by Government of India under Ministry of Energy to supervise, finance and coordinate the research and develop technology to produce energy from alternate sources. By now, you have an idea of fossil fuels. Let us examine some important aspects of petroleum, coal and natural gas.
Coal was the fuel used by many households earlier. Now, most use natural gas or kerosene for cooking. Coal, petrol and natural gas are now used in industries, power generation and for transport. These fossil fuels, on burning in the presence of oxygen, produce carbon dioxide, water vapor and other volatile gases.
Let us now examine each of these fuels separately. We shall start with coal.
Coal is abundantly found in Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa and Bihar. In Andhra Pradesh, it is found in places like Godavari Khani, Singareni and Bellampalli. Coal is formed in deep layers of earth. About 300 million years ago, due to volcanic activity and earthquakes, large forests were buried in earth. As the pressure increased due to accumulation of earth, moisture was squeezed out of the trees. The heat increased due to lack of oxygen around the trees. The heat burnt the trees and converted them to coal. This process is called carbonification.
If these plants had survived, more carbon dioxide would have been added to atmosphere. Even if they had a natural death and decomposed, carbon dioxide could have been added to atmosphere. The result of the large tracts of forest being buried in earth has reduced the greenhouse effect.
Coal is used to obtain coal gas, ammoniacal liquor, coal, tar and coke. Coke burns without giving smoke and has a high calorific value.
Why petroleum is called oil from rocks? The word petro means rock. Oleum means oil. It means that oil is obtained from rocks.
Deep in the earth, there are rocks called impervious rocks. There is a lot of space between the rocks. Petroleum is present between two layers of these rocks. A hole is drilled deep into the earth and petrol in the form of crude oil flows out. This crude oil is refined in the refineries and petrol is obtained.
The byproducts formed during the refinement of crude oil are kerosene and diesel. These are also used as fuel. The crude oil is actually a mixture of different types of solids, liquids, gaseous hydrocarbons mixed with water, salts and earth particles.
The place where crude oil is refined is known as a refinery. Petroleum oil is heated at 400 degrees centigrade and vapors are sent into a long tower. The temperature in the tower is very high at the bottom, and as we go up the tower, the temperature reduces to 20 degrees centigrade at the top of the tower. Different compounds condense to liquid at different heights of the tower depending on their boiling points. Later, these liquids are purified. All the products obtained from the crude oil are known as petrochemicals. They are fuel oil, diesel oil, kerosene oil, petrol or gasoline, and petroleum gas. The petrochemicals are used as raw materials for manufacturing plastics, perfumes, fertilizers, insecticides, explosives, dyes, drugs, synthetic fibers, and synthetic rubber.
Petroleum wells are found in various places of India. They are:
Petroleum wells are in Assam since 1867. Petroleum deposits were recently found in Gujarat, Godavari Basin in Andhra Pradesh, and the Arabian Sea near Mumbai. Refineries are set up in Mumbai, Chennai, Mathura, Guwahati, Haldia, Cochin, Kolyali, Vizag, Baranuni, and Digboy.
the production of petroleum in India is monitored by ONGC, which is the Oil and Natural Gas Commission, and OIL, which is Oil India Limited. The third fossil fuel is natural gas. Natural gas is found along with petrol, or only natural gas may be found in some wells. Just like petroleum, the gas is drawn and stored in containers.
Natural gas consists mostly of methane and some amount of ethane and propane. This gas burns without leaving any residual matter and does not pollute the atmosphere.
The evolution of man on Earth is a spectacular event. An organism that would stand erect, talk and think evolved. The primitive man had a very simple way of life. As time passed, he discovered fire. He discovered the material to set up fire. The use of fire was realized. Wood became the material for fire. However, in view of a small population, the use was limited. It was also limited to cook food and give warmth.
As time progressed, the need for energy increased. This was coupled with increase in population. Man discovered many things for comfortable living: tasty food, easier transport, etc. The discovery of coal and oil and gas revolutionized transport and ways of living. Today, modern man requires energy for domestic use, for transport, agriculture, industries, communication, comfort, relaxation and recreation. America consumes 250,000 kilocalories of energy per day. India consumes 10,000 to 20,000 kilocalories per day. Energy requirements vary from region to region. If all the resources like coal, petrol, gas is used up for energy production, these will be exhausted in just another 50 to 100 years.
Scientists realized this problem and are searching for alternative energy sources. They are working to find an ideal fuel which must be naturally occurring renewable fuel, be available abundantly and cheaply, last for a long time, be non-polluting and be friendly to the environment, generate high energy from a unit volume or weight.
In the search for alternate sources of energy, scientists discovered nuclear energy, solar energy and tidal wave energy.
Though discoveries have been made, they have both advantages and disadvantages. Let us now examine each one and examine their advantages or disadvantages. There are some metals which are radioactive in nature. Scientists have discovered means to utilize these materials to produce energy in the form of power. To produce energy from radioactive materials, two processes called fission and fusion have been adopted.
Splitting of the nucleus of an atom of an element is fission. For example, when uranium or other suitable nucleus undergo fission, it breaks up into a pair of nuclear fragments and releases energy. At the same time, the nucleus emits very quickly a number of fast neutrons, the same type of particle that initiated the fission of the uranium nucleus. This makes it possible to achieve a self-sustaining series of nuclear fissions. In nuclear fusion, the nuclei of atoms fuse together, causing much more energy being released than in nuclear fission. This is the process which powers the sun. The deuterium and tritium atoms, which have extra neutrons in the nucleus than normal, fuse together to form helium. Energy is released due to a difference in mass between helium atoms compared with the sum of the hydrogen atoms. This is conclusive evidence that some mass is converted into energy via Einstein's relationship of E is equals to mc square, where E is equals to energy, m is equals to mass of nuclei, and c is equals to speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second.
During these two processes, energy is produced as heat. This heat is used to produce steam, which runs a generator to produce electricity. The nuclear fuel is refined in a nuclear reactor before it is used. Nuclear fuel complex in Hyderabad processes uranium, which is required in a nuclear reactor. You must be aware of the adverse effects of nuclear energy on Japan just recently. The nuclear material has to be handled very carefully. Precautions have to be taken to prevent exposure to radioactive toxic materials from nuclear reactor.
Man has produced destructive weapons called nuclear arms like atom bomb, hydrogen bomb, neutron bomb, etc. These weapons have the power of mass destruction. Such bombs were used on two cities of Japan, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki, during World War II, causing death and damage to a huge population.
In spite of the knowledge that plants use solar energy, man has not made any efforts to harness this energy for mankind. Having realized and fearing the diminishing reserves of natural resources which are non-renewable, he started his search for methods to harness solar energy.
The work of scientists to find means to utilize the solar energy led to the invention of the solar cooker, solar lamps, solar battery cells, solar water heater, etc.
However, the work is in its elementary stage. Scientists are researching to find methods to use solar energy. They are working on generating, storing, and using electricity on a massive scale. One advantage of solar energy is it is cheap, eternal, produces no waste material, and does not pollute the environment.
Solar energy is generated by coating metal plates with light-sensitive chemicals. When light falls on these plates, chemical current is generated. Based on this principle, the satellites are being energized by solar energy.
Manufacturing of the solar panels is very expensive. Let us hope that the research of scientists to harness solar energy on a massive scale at a cheaper cost will have fruitful results.
When you go to exhibitions, you find colorful paper wheels being sold. The wheels rotate whenever wind blows. Even the blades of a fan move when wind blows, even in the absence of electric power. Man has started harnessing the wind power to generate electricity. Windmill is now being extensively used. The blades of a windmill move when wind blows. Huge pillars are erected, and at the top 3 blades are fixed vertically. The blades are made up of lightweight and tough plastic. The blades rotate due to wind. This rotation produces energy in the generators to which the windmill is connected. The windmills are being used to pump water to run turbines for the production of electricity.
Large amounts of kinetic energy are stored in waves. Several devices have been made to rotate as the water passed through them by the wave action. This is used to run turbines or generate electricity. Dear students, we have examined how nature provides us natural resources, some renewable and some non-renewable. But indiscriminate use of these resources can totally lead to depletion and extinction. Without these resources, man's existence on earth will become difficult. We must use these resources judiciously, but at last speed up the search for alternative sources of energy. Until we meet again, please use your natural resources sparingly. Take care and bye-bye.